Strings are immutable in Python. What does that mean? Well, first of all, let's talk about what is a string and continue with the discussion of strings are immutable. So a string is something like my name, or rather, my car. That's a string, right? It's a string because it has quotes, and it could be single quotes or double quotes, but basically a string is a collection of characters, right? Just like a collection, like a list, a tuple, a set is a collection. A string is a collection of characters. So what does that mean? That means that we can iterate through this just like a regular collection. So for letter, for example, in my car, go ahead and print the letter. And then do, and do like a separator, for example, to be /n, a new line. So we can see the difference. We would see that that's exactly what happens. It goes through each character and it prints it on a line, and then it creates a new line right afterwards. So that's basically a collection of characters. But what I'm saying is that this string is immutable. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, well, I don't know what you're talking about, Ed. I can take my car and basically say, you know what, let's change it to, a Lambo now. And if you print my car, we would see that in fact does happen. But this is different than what I'm saying. This is basically assigning a new string to the same variable. So you're changing the reference. What I'm saying is that once you create my car, and it's Ferrari, for example, you cannot say, hey, look, go ahead and change the first index, right? The value at the first index, change it to a little f, right? So I say, no, string, you can't assign this to string. You can't do this. You can't change a string. It's immutable. You can't do this. So that's what I'm getting to. And just to prove it to you, what happens if you say my car and then you say your car? I think this'll drive it home. Is that even though we have two different strings pointing to, assigned to two different values, or two different variables, rather, you can say print the ID of each, and we'll see that they're the same, right? They're the same. This is why strings are immutable, because on the heap and memory, Python is trying to save memory, and so if this is the same as this, it only lives once on the memory heap, and then we can reference it via different variables, sure, but it's still the same reference. It's still the same object. So that's what we mean when we say strings are immutable. It's for two reasons. Well, one is making things more efficient, and two is sort of to protect you from making a mistake too, in a way. That's an added benefit. You can say to yourself, well, I know strings can't change, so I'm always going to have that value, that original value. I hope this makes sense.